Right, let's start with a story which I'm close to calling nonsense.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm wrong here. The idea that Ruben Amorim has told Manchester United that he can't wait till the summer to try and sign Victor Gyökeres from his former club Sporting Lisbon. He needs to get it now. I can't see it. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Well, I don't see where they're going to get 80 million quid from, unless, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has got a massive sofa with loads of coins stored away in the cushions. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not the type of deal that happened in January. United don't have that kind of budget. And actually, I reported a couple of weeks ago that Gyökeres is not overly keen to leave Sporting mid-season anyway. I think ultimately he fancies himself in the Premier League, but he'll take his chance in the summer and see what options are available. I think it's too simplistic just to say that Gyökeres did so well for Amorim in Portugal that he's automatically going to follow him to Old Trafford. I do think United need a number 9.
Yeah, without doubt.
Because
do they need an experienced number 9? Do they need someone to come in like Henrik Larsson? Zlatan Ibrahimovic is the one I keep looking at.
You're making me all misty-eyed.
No, but like when Zlatan came in for Jose Mourinho, he did a brilliant job.
Oh, he was magnificent.
He was absolutely sensational on the field and off the field. Right? Do they need someone with that sort of credibility and that level of influence that can come in and do a job for the squad and on the pitch as well?
Oh, and that charisma.
That's
United have always had forwards with personality. You go right back to the days of Mark Hughes and Cantona.
Barcelona out and take Lewandowski to the end of the season. Solved one of their problems.
Well, it'd be interesting to see. If you did put a proper number 9, an experienced number 9 in this team, would it give that uplift? Because I feel for Rasmus Højlund. I think he's got raw potential. I think he's desperate to succeed. You can see that every time he scores, what it means to him. But he's pitched in too soon. And there is a danger with Gyökeres that the same can be said, by the way. He hasn't done it in the Premier League. He's not played in the Premier League. Brighton didn't think he was good enough to play in the Premier League. That's why they sold him to Coventry, and then Coventry sold him on to Sporting. And there wasn't loads of Premier League interest in him. And I know he's done it in Portugal. He scored goals in the Champions League, hat-trick against Man City. But it's still a big step up, even from Sporting Lisbon, to come in and guarantee goals in the Premier League. For that kind of money, I'm not sure I commit to it.
Yeah, I mean, 26 goals in 24 games.
That's an incredible record.
Is outstanding, isn't it? I mean, overall, he's played, I think he's played 48 league games, started 48 league games for Sporting. He scored 47 goals.
It's an incredible record. But Brighton don't get much wrong. Tony Bloom's data model has far more successes than hits. So I'm just surprised that if he is going to be that good at the Premier League level, that Brighton were willing to let him go. We'll see.
I mean, some people mature at different ages, right? He's 26 now. He's in the peak of his years, and he's certainly making the most of it in Portugal. Be interesting to see if he could translate that to the Premier League. We're not going to find out in January, though. I'm pretty sure of that. What about Casemiro going to Saudi Arabia? We mentioned that there's no slots available. There's one slot available. Are the Saudis going to use that on Casemiro?
Possibly. There's always been interest from Saudi in Casemiro, and I think Manchester United would probably drive him there themselves because he's on huge money. I thought he was dreadful again against Newcastle. I'm slightly surprised, actually, that he's managed to forage a way back into the team after being hauled off against Liverpool.
They had no choice. They had Ugarte and Fernandes suspended.
Yeah, but I mean, he's gone. In terms of the top level, his best days are behind him. Yes, he's been a fantastic player. He's got the trophies to prove it. It smacked of desperation when United signed him. In fact, I remember being at Hotel Football. Gary Neville was giving a talk there. United unveiled him before they played Liverpool. There were anti-Glazer protests planned, and he described it as a Boris Johnson diversion tactic, which seemed a bit strong at the time, but I understand where he's coming from. Al Nassr, Ronaldo's club, have just let one of their overseas players go, so they do have a slot, and they are one of the teams who've shown an interest, so I think certainly is one to keep an eye on.
And Demarai Gray, I think, is trying to get out of his...
That's been denied to us by both the club and his representatives,
right,
so
okay.
we'll keep an eye on it.
Keep an eye on that, because that could be another slot that ends up opening up
as well. I think
Marco
Silva at Fulham would be interested in signing Demarai Gray, and that'd be a good club to go to for him.
Definitely. Sam Johnson could be leaving Wolverhampton Wanderers, and he's on the way to Tottenham, possibly?
Potentially. It's not worked out for him, is it? They paid £10 million for him, Wolves, from Crystal Palace. I think he was going there with the aim of being number one, but Jose Sarr seems to have cemented that status for himself. So I think there's a possibility that Wolves could let Johnston go, and Tottenham certainly, before he went to Wolves and when he was at Palace, showed interest. And I think they need a goalkeeper, don't they? Because Vicario is not coming back anytime soon. Fraser Forster is a decent shot stopper, but we've highlighted it. We did when we were there against Liverpool. He can't do what Postecoglou wants his keepers to do in terms of his distribution.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.